Hey everybody, this is Kevin. I'm here with my great buddy Steve. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, good to see you.
Hey. Yeah, I'm back from Jamaica in Mon. It was a lot of fun celebrating my wife's birthday. So good to be back and talking with everybody. We're going to talk today a little bit about life's purpose. And that's a very general subject, but it's one that I think everybody's struggled with from time to time in their human experience. So I think it's appropriate for us to give it a little bit of conversation. What do you think, Steve?
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So from an overview standpoint, I think Steve may agree with me, and he's free to disagree if he wants to. But overall, there are a couple of overarching principles that I feel are associated with our life's purpose. One of them being that we're here to provide contrast for the mother energy because she's an all-loving being and doesn't really have access to the opposite sides of love. And the human experience is full of that. And by us experiencing that on a day-to-day basis, it gives her that understanding of herself and that contrast. So I think that's an important part of our experience here. The other part of it is that I think that our life on Earth is important because it helps for the soul to evolve. And that soul evolution is a vital aspect to each of us individually, and plays an important role in our overall purpose here in life. Do you agree with that, Steve?
I would agree. I think that all of us in general come here with a desire to expand and to grow at the soul level, which we accomplish in every lifetime that we come here and experience. So I think that's general, and we generally have certain focuses or life lessons, as you may call them, that our soul is interested in having us gain experience in this lifetime in specific, and perhaps in many lifetimes. There's kind of a generalized focus that may be unique to us. That's different for you, Kevin. You may have some different focuses for me from me. But I think that that can be said about all humans, is that when they come into a life as a human being, they are here to expand and experience different things that helps their soul to grow in certain ways that the soul wants to grow.
And don't you sort of agree with me that we've chosen the life that we're living right now in order to allow us to have the opportunity to have those experiences that our soul needs to evolve? Yes?
Absolutely. And those experiences can be very varied. I think the lessons or the life lessons that the soul would like to learn can be covering a wide gamut. They could be specific areas of endeavor, for instance, sports or music or engineering or something like that. But they could be also in a very experiential way that has nothing to do with a specific focus like that in terms of what you do, but for instance, certain life experiences that you go through. For instance, perhaps you were abused as a child, and that could be part of the life lesson of trust. So can you learn to trust people even though you had the people that you most depended upon betrayed you in one way or another? Betrayal, can you learn trust beyond that? Or perhaps you had some other kind of tragedy in your life. You had an accident and became paralyzed, and therefore you were very limited in your physical capability. Or it could be even coming in with a certain condition like autism. It's like, well, what could be gained by that? Well, there's a lot that the soul could gain in experiencing these states of limited functionality. So I just wanted to add those as being some general areas that the soul could be looking to gain experience in as well.
Yeah, yep, that's for sure. And interestingly, as you mentioned some of the difficult aspects that we have in our life, but there are also positive ones that provide us with experiences as well. And so they don't all have to necessarily be negative in order for the soul experience to evolve. And so there are different things that we've had, experiences that you and I have had, Steve, in the past, which have helped us shed some light on our purposes. And I know from my standpoint, at one stage, I had a hypnosis session where I was able to contact my higher self and ask if I was on the right path and what my life's purpose was. And in doing that, I found that gaining the wisdom that I had already gained and continuing on that path was appropriate, and that I had no obstacles in my path for doing that exact thing, which is what my soul needs for its evolution. And so that was very helpful to me and very comforting to me to hear those words and to hear basically myself telling myself that I was on the right path. You've had a similar type of thing, but not exactly the same.
Yeah, so I've had channeling sessions where I have asked about my life purpose, and basically the general theme that I get is that one of the important things that I'm here to do is to help others to connect with their higher selves and to know themselves better. Which is kind of interesting in light of the fact that I've been doing engineering and computer systems work all my life. But I think as on the side, I've always had an interest and felt that I've in various ways contributed to that calling, so to speak. So yeah, that's true for me as well.
Yeah, I just finished reading a book that talked about different volunteers on Earth. And it was talking about certain waves of volunteers who are here essentially just as beacons to show other people what life should be like and how to live your life. And I really resonated with that. I felt that that is something that it's a way I try to lead my life, is to show by example for other people how to be positive and loving to other people. So there are different tools out there, I think, that can help you discern what your life's purpose is. But it really comes down to what you resonate with as you come across these different tools, and what your life purpose actually is.
Right, and I think that we each come in with a variety of strengths and weaknesses. And that's by design. So it's like some people may wonder, well, why am I so bad at this? Why am I so clumsy? Or why don't I have any sense of pitch or something like that? And yet they may have an analytical strength. Most people are quite different. And of course, that's useful in the workplace because all these different strengths are needed in one place or another. But it also helps us to grow in balancing these abilities and inabilities. So for instance, someone may come in with a gift for music or sports, for instance. They could be an amazing athlete, and they're gifted and they become very popular and looked up to and have a following of fans. But the flip side of that is that a life lesson of theirs is a lesson of grace, and that they have to learn to balance their ego that's associated with that. And they may find that their ego gets them in a lot of trouble. They end up, for instance, taking on a lot of indiscretional sexual partners and whatnot because they can. And they end up finding they get in a lot of trouble because of that and having to work through those challenges. And so the various gifts as well as liabilities and weaknesses that we have bring us into a variety of life circumstances that we learn from and the soul learns from, and we
Right.
carry through our series of lifetimes. So that's just another angle on it.
Yeah, yeah, agreed, Steve. And I think we could talk more about, especially the ego aspect of things and balance. I think those are two really good topics to consider down the road. But I think we've given a good treatment to the idea of life's purpose, at least as a starting point. And of course, we'd love to hear everybody else's viewpoint on it, especially if you inquired about it and found a tool that's helped you in the past. We'd love to hear about that. And Steve, do you have anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, no, just adding on to that, we would enjoy hearing other people's perspective on the subject of purpose. In other words, was it something that you found fairly easy to discern? I mean, I think that some people, and you'll see a lot of variety. For instance, a little kid at a young age will say, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be an inventor, or something like that. And that carries through their entire life. They knew from a very young age that's what they wanted. And there are other people who, they're in their later years and still are scratching their heads and don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had a specific area that I really wanted to specialize in, but I don't. And so it'd be interesting to hear from others as to what their experiences are regarding their own purpose and what they see the purpose for us in general is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well done.
All right. So please, everyone, feel free. We would encourage you to give us your thoughts and your feelings about the subject of life purpose.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you, everyone else, for listening. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.
Ciao.